When you ask an R&D specialist, what's your fee? They're probably going to say anywhere between 10 to 30%, all right? But here's the thing, that number hasn't been plucked out of thin air, and it's not R&D specialists being greedy. There is logic and reason behind that number. So let me give you a breakdown on how R&D specialists make up their fees, and then I'll leave it to you to decide, are they overpriced or worth every penny? So let's start with something easy, knowledge. Ask yourself this question. Do I have the knowledge to create and process an R&D tax claim all by myself? If the answer is yes, then have at it. Don't pay a penny to a specialist. Go for it, trust your instincts, you'll do great. If the answer is no, however, which is typically 99% of companies that I speak to, then be prepared to pay for that knowledge. The only question that remains then is, how much are you going to pay? Take investigations, for example. Now, typically you would be investigated if your claim had red flags or it went through a cowboy company or a very, very small company that's inexperienced. However, even if your claim is squeaky clean, it does not mean that HMRC won't ever pull it at random for a compliance check. And if that ever happens, you're going to want two things in place. The first thing is you're going to want to make sure your R&D provider is willing to argue your case on behalf of you with HMRC. The second thing that you'll want in order is your evidence of activity. All right, so this is a solid breakdown throughout your claim year of your R&D activities and your costs. How a specialist handles investigations, as well as how they get you investigation ready if it ever did happen, shows you how credible they are in the market. And that will impact your fee. Moving on, ask yourself, how much is credibility worth to you? It's not rocket science. The more credible you are with HMRC and accountants, the more respected and trusted you are in the R&D space. It's that simple. But getting to that level is not cheap. It takes growth, partnerships, collaborations, mergers, and all of that costs money. So again, that's going to have an impact on your fee. Which brings us nicely onto market presence. When you think of companies that are considered as thought leaders in their industry, you'll probably assume to see them at things like speaking opportunities, sponsorships, exhibitions, workshops. The list really goes on. And we feel good when we see this because it instills trust, comfort. It makes us feel assured when we're seeing companies up there as market leaders. But just think for a second, that costs them money. And in turn, again, that will be impacted in your fee. Now, I've shared this in a lot of videos, but R&D specialists really just have one job. They want to maximise your claim, but they also want to maximise your overall experience with them. That may be that they've got an internal grants team, or they talk to you about capital allowances, your commercial property, or your patents. Nonetheless, this is what separates a run-of-the-mill specialist to a really great one. But like everything, it comes down to people, and people cost money, which is going to impact what you pay. Now here's one you've probably never thought of, deadline claims. Let's say, for example, it's the beginning of March, one of HMRC's busiest months, by the way, and you appoint a specialist to do a claim for you, and you've given them 2 or 3 weeks' time to get it done in. Do you seriously think a specialist is going to give you a discount when you've given them such a small time frame to work in for a premium service? No way. You, my friend, are paying full whack. Now let's consider your experience with a claim. Companies that make a claim annually will most likely have a smoother journey. Why? Well, because they're used to the legislation, they know what to expect, they've done it many times, they're up to date with the changes, which means the time spent between a claimant and a specialist can be managed very well. On the other hand, if you're a first-time claimer, then this is going to be very new to you. You won't really know what to expect at the beginning, and that means that your specialist will probably have to hold your hand a lot more, spend a lot more time and effort with you as well, which indicates that your fee probably won't be a discounted one. If you are new to this game and you've never done an R&D claim before and your specialist is going to have to work more intensely with you, you're going to pay top dollar. I'm going to finish this video by highlighting one of the most important things that will impact your fee, and that is the fact that you're working with credible experts. You know that classic story where a ship engine needs to be fixed and 10 run-of-the-mill engineers come in, try and fix it, no luck, but then a specialist comes in, taps it in the right place, and hey presto, it works. The moral of that story is experts are brilliant at what they do, and that's because they dedicate their professional careers to being absolutely pristine in their field. You get to continue running your business and you simply pay for an expert as and when you need it. That's golden, but it costs you. So there you have it, a behind the scenes look into R&D specialist fees and how they're actually made up. So I'll ask you again, what do you think? Overly expensive or worth every penny?
Down, down.